And we're good. All right, y'all. Welcome in, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good week so far this week. And for everybody who's on the East Coast, I hope you're staying dry and safe. And yeah, right. Check anybody who has a friend on the East Coast. Make sure to check in with them today and tomorrow. Right, they're about to get hit. So today, our topic of discussion is. Let me put it in the chat right here. Roundtable. What are you doing to prepare for the off season? Anybody want to start the discussion off? Who wants to go?
Well, I'll send out text.
There we go.
I send out text to all of my customers, letting them know that we're coming to a end. We appreciate their business, and we hope to do business with them again next year. But as far as my equipment, I started off by I started off by cleaning my bouncy houses and storing them so that next season come, everything will be okay. And by me being in the storage, I also clean them. So just in case, by me not being touching them and unfolding them, I won't have to worry about like the stuff.
Very cool. Okay, so you text everybody and you start cleaning all your units. Oof, that sounds like a whole lot of work itself. Now the text messages, like you're just like thanking them for doing business with you this year. Do a lot of people text you back or?
Some of them do. Yeah, some of them do. I try to do it like around the holidays too. Just let them know, like, it's just not a summer thing, we do appreciate you.
Oh, how cool. That's so sweet. I'm sure they love hearing from you too, especially during the holidays. And would you say a lot of those people like repeat business then after like the next following year if they want to bounce house?
I have 4 people who have been renting from me since I started.
Oh wow. How cool. Okay, so
So
they're a
like
staff.
this year was my 4th year doing my son's school. I do my son's daycare end of the school year event every year. I work with this organization called Hoop Hard Off the Court. It's a organization in a rough neighborhood that they are starting just to keep the boys occupied, to keep the kids occupied, to give them a different way and path. So I do their events every year too.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, how nice. Hooping is close to my heart. I love basketball myself, so very cool.
And it's a small organization too that's actually growing.
Okay. Very nice. All right. Well, and what else does everybody do, right? I know, maintenance and storage is a big one. Like I have, as a learning from last off season and coming into this off season now, right? Now is about the time where things are, starting to wind down. And then once that first cold front hits, it's pretty much like no more water slides. The rentals are done. I know, bud. I know. And
But
yeah.
see, you have to let your customers know that a bouncy house is not just for an outdoor. So once people know that it's not just for outdoor, you'll get more business over your off season because you have people who rent out spaces.
Oh wow. I wouldn't even think about that. So do you still rent units during the winter months then as well because of people?
Sometimes.
I hate that.
It slowed down since the pandemic over.
Yep, but if you got that venue that you have the ability to partner with, you're able to send out a flyer.
I was going to say that too, Aaron. If you know gyms and things like that in your neighborhood or around you, go speak with them. Go talk to them. When they promote their business, they'll most likely promote yours too.
They already rent the birthday packages. You an add on inside their facility, so they can come to that facility and get your business. Put your name out.
That's so smart. Absolutely right. All those places.
You gotta be smart, Brandon. We're business owners. You gotta be smart. You gotta think outside the box, not in the box. The money
No, we
not in
gotta.
the box. It's outside the box.
Ooh, outside the bouncy castle, right?
Absolutely. The bounce is the last thing we got to think about. We got to think about everything else to get them on the bounce.
Balance, right? That's what the kid wants it, right? He already wants it. It's how are you going to convince the parents to get it for him?
That's how you tell the kids. Tell the kids. Oh, you know you get one over the winter, right?
Does anybody got an IP system that they use on a bounce or anything?
What is that?
An IP system is they have like a whack-a-mole that is an IP system. It's a sensor that goes on top, and they've got them for jelly ball. That way, it's like a shooting course that it's all electronic. It's just a sensor, and it is called an IP system.
How cool.
4, 5,000, 10,000?
I don't know what price point is. I've got some brochures from last year. I want to say it's roughly $5,000 or so to get into, but they have like a ninja unit that you got to hit and kick these IP pads going through the inflatable, like in the mazes. You've got to hit these connection points inside the maze.
Oh, that's got to be so hard to be able to market to your customers, though, unless they actually use it. Once you get it out there, then it'd be different. But marketing to that to people just sometimes make things like that difficult.
Well, no, not really, Raymore. All you got to do is take a video of your nieces and nephews in it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I find like sometimes different stuff just makes it more difficult to run out, like my bungee runs or my Velcro wall and stuff. You know, if they haven't used it, or even when you do videos, even though that those things are fun, I just find it a little bit more hard to run out. At least in my area.
I like that, though. I've never heard of the IP system.
Me neither. I was over here like, whoa.
Right?
A lot of people heard of soft play in my area, so we do a lot of soft play parties.
Soft play. Is that like it's like for smaller children?
Yeah, it's for like small children. You do those stupid indoor bounce houses. They're like Toys R Us bounce houses. I really hate them, but a lot of companies out here they run them. So I just do them. I don't do them outside. I used to do a couple here outside, but I don't do them. So I do those and put together a whole soft play thing in front of the bounce house for them to play around on. It's really meant for probably kids under 5. Anything bigger than that, it's not really meant for.
Okay, and that you primarily rent indoors.
Yeah, I just do indoors. Some people do outdoors, but I would not go outdoors. It's like a ball pit. It's all these building blocks. It's like squares that they step on, and they are like different colors. They got liquid in them and stuff.
Like the kid puzzle floors.
Yeah.
That's the flooring of it.
Bigger ones, yeah. I gotta find something else besides the kids' puzzle floor. Mine's starting to get a little bit dirty, so I got like little hoppers to hop on. So I don't know.
That's gotta be a great alternative for indoors, like to rent during.
But it's a lot of crap to set up.
Okay.
The balls are a pain in the ass. Hey,
yeah, them balls. It's the balls for me. Yeah, everything else.
I go to the event to pick it back up, and they're all over the place. So it just kind of drives me a little bit crazy. It's like, a 1,000 ball pickup game when you get there. So you got to arrive. If your event's over at 8, you got to arrive at 7 to start picking up balls. So it's just crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's a pretty cool setup. I mean, for a little kid, it's awesome. I offer all kinds of little play stuff for them.
For the setup and the takedown, that's a lot. I be looking at it.
But that's also why you gotta let the customers know that you're gonna charge extra if the balls or like all of the soft play stuff aren't in their designated area, which is inside of the gated area or like whatever. You don't use a gate, but in the area that's gonna be the soft play.
Say it again.
Can you do that on an inflatable office? Do you know?
I don't know.
Brandon.
Oh,
I just speak with the customers about it, so I don't know about that.
That's a good idea, Rosie. That's definitely a great idea.
That's a good idea if you can actually charge somebody for that. So, because I think
there's always ways to charge people.
But some people, you gotta look at it.
You can do PayPal. There's ways to do it, and if they
not
sign
even
a contract,
not that, Rosie. You have to look at it like this. This is our job. regardless.
Of course. But
Regardless,
that's
so
the thing.
people will
That's
look
why the
at you like, okay,
contract.
so you gonna come set it up, but you think I'm gonna be responsible for picking it up? You know, you will have problems with that, far as customers.
Yeah, some
Well, I'm
customers, yes, some customers, but the right customers, the ones that you want, won't have a problem with it. And that's why when you send out the contract, like that's just something that you kind of have to be proactive and let them know, like, hey, this is how I run my business. These are my policies. Like it
Yeah,
or
they're a little
don't.
bit different.
If
I don't do
not,
the
there's
pay
other
tell or
people,
anything.
there's other customers. At the end of the day, that's my time. It's my back. So
Yeah. I got to figure out to see if I can do that with Inflatable Office, because if they can't do it on Inflatable Office, I just don't do it anymore.
What was the
Well,
original question about
I'm thinking
inflatable
we
office?
can, because so like
If you
they're
could,
asking. You go ahead, Ray. You go ahead.
if you could charge the customer once if you go back and the balls are all over the place after you say that, make sure the balls stay all in one place. How do you go about charging somebody's card for that service on Inflatable Office?
I would
Yeah,
assume it would be the same way you charge somebody like if for extra cleaning fee or
Exactly.
something
I just have
That's
never done that.
exactly what I was gonna say. That's
I've
I
never
exactly
did
what
it
done that.
one time for my son's first birthday. I bought all them balls, and I quit there. I quit before I even bought it. But the quickest way that I
Yeah.
did get them back inside of the bag, I used the rake. I used the
Great.
rake and I raked them back inside the bag instead of just bending over. I mean, it's
Not a
different
bad
ways.
idea.
We just got to put our mind to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because
Okay.
I just
software's
feel
really
like
not
as
a bad
long as they're
idea.
in their designated area, it just makes it a whole lot easier versus it being all over like the event
No, I get what
space,
you're saying.
you
And
know?
they have to be in one spot. I get what you're
hmm
I
saying.
started
And I
offering less
and here's
balls.
the thing that comes with adult supervision. Obviously the kids are not going to be taking
That
the stuff
part.
out, throwing them to people, the stuff like
That
that,
part.
if there is a lack of supervision. So at that point, if you guys are not taking care of the kids while they are doing this, which is your responsibility, that is something that is on the contract. Like this is all just things that you have to let the customer know, communicate with them, and they'll understand, you know?
We've
I've never
talked
had
about it.
any pushback as far as any of that. But I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that are very like, if I'm paying you to do the job or whatever, okay, that's fine. So if you want me to take care of that and you know that it's going to be, a mess, then let's go ahead and add that extra cleaning fee prior to completing this reservation. And if you agree with that, then we can go on with our business. We can continue.
I
Got it.
mean, yeah,
Got
with
it.
that Giant Connect 4, I would believe also. I mean, anything that come with pieces.
Exactly.
You would direct
Do y'all have some
your
sort of
renter.
infographic that you pass out to customers that goes over all of that?
I'm
Say
sorry?
that again.
What was
Repeat
that, lady?
yourself.
Yeah. What was that?
I
Do
don't
y'all
know.
have
They
some
just,
sort of infographic that y'all pass out to customers that goes over all of that?
Oh,
I got
yeah?
a contract. I have a paper contract that they have to sign.
Yeah.
Let me interject really quick. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a round table maybe like a couple months ago that Tariq and I did. And it's about a manager survey. That is something, lady, that me and, well, pretty much just me, I will pretty much call every single customer about a week or so before their event. And I go through I confirm all their info, make sure I'm not missing anything because I want a
Right.
5-star review from them at the end of the day. And then I also go through all of our rules, reminders, safety, everything. Even though they're going to go over it again with them during the delivery, I tell them about a week and a half beforehand. So during that call, I
And
also mentioned things like removing the leaves from the bounce houses because those are a nightmare. They stain, leaf mold, whatever. So
Yes.
you kind of collectively pull all that into one phone call. Girl, it takes like 5 minutes to get done, and that's that. And honestly, since I've been with the company since March, I've rarely had issues with people bringing back like confetti-filled bounce houses because we go over it so much with them. So
not only
just to
that,
answer
you
your
guys
question.
also have those yard signs that you guys mentioned with the rules stating on the back. You know, you have your stuff in the front, and then
We're
the rules on the
human.
back.
We're human. They
So-
don't read. They don't read. They don't read. They
But
don't read.
at that point, that's their fault. But that's also kind of why, like I said, we have to be proactive, communicate with the customers, let them know, you know, have a good understanding. If they have any questions, cool. You know, that's what we're here for. We're here to help and just kind of continue forward. So you go over it with the customers when they're making the reservation, you know, like Zoelle said, you call prior to confirm, let them know all of the policies that you guys have, you know, make sure they understand. And then again, you go over it when you drop it off. And on top of that, there are specific rules that are printed on the inflatable that they have to follow by. And if you are somebody like, you know, Bounce My House or other companies out here that are probably watching who have their yard signs, it's just kind of inevitable. Like, these are things that they cannot fight you on because you've gone over it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. It's on the bounce house. It's on the yard sign. Like, it's in the contract. So it's just like, yeah, you don't read, but we went over it, right?
That's kind of like when you have the giant Connect 4 and you got to go pick those up and you got 3 missing, the little red part that goes in the middle. This is Bippy's world. This is Bippy's world.
You charge them. Charge them.
Yeah.
Charge them for it. Yep.
Any of your product is missing or damaged, it's an incidental fee.
Yeah.
Zoelle, how do you schedule those reminders, like, to where you don't miss anybody when you do those week before phone calls?
Sure. So I don't necessarily have reminders. I do kind of have just my own process that I've kind of figured out since I've started with Bounce My House. However, if you have Inflatable Office, for each person's order, reservation, what have you, there's a section called surveys. And in there, I think you can select, like, there's a survey that'll automatically go out to the customer. They can choose to fill it out or not. It's like, what's the earliest we can deliver? If we need to deliver a day before, can we do that? It's things like that. Then there's one called a manager survey. And so my rule of thumb is that I have to call all of my customers. So let's say I have all of my deliveries for not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend. I'm going to call them on this Thursday. So I kind of do it a little over a week in advance. And so that's just kind of my system. I remember that every Thursday I am making these calls for the next weekend, and making sure that they're all getting done. And it can take some time, but I'll kind of like break it up throughout my day. So I might do some in the morning, some in the afternoon, things like that. So if you have Inflatable Office, you'll already have like a manager survey in there and you can edit it to say whatever you want. Unfortunately, you do have like limitations, like you can't do more than X amount of things. So essentially what it'll do is when you click on the manager survey, it'll open up a new window and it'll start with the first question. So like, confirm their rental items. You initial it. And once you initial it, you hit next and it brings up the next question. So it literally goes question by question. So that way you don't have like this whole sheet of 1.5 million questions you're asking them and things to go over. It kind of makes it easier for you and it makes it easier for the customer as well, because you're kind of breaking it up. So that's kind of how I go about it. Once you kind of have your system and your rhythm down, that's a great way to do it. But if you do need a good reminder for yourself, if you have EventHawk or Inflatable Office, in both of those, they have something called tasks. So you can assign yourself tasks, and depending on which, I think if you use EventHawk, then you can actually get the tasks emailed to you. So you'll get reminders straight to your phone saying like, hey, you have a task to do in 1 hour. And then if you do it in Inflatable Office, it just kind of pops up on the top of the screen. It's kind of easier to dismiss, I guess, or forget about. So that would be my recommendation if you feel as though you kind of need a reminder, at least to just get that process going and get into the rhythm of it. Then, you know, you can create a task with either of those.
So EventHawk is used as it's another rental management, correct?
Say that one more time.
EventHawk, is it a management software like Inflatable Office?
Sort of, not really, kind of. Brandon, I feel like you could explain that better than I can.
Yeah, no. So EventHawk is more your CRM, your ability to communicate with your customers. While Inflatable Office, ERS, BCN, those are your booking softwares where, you know, you do all the bookings, everything there. send your money to your customers or your quotes to your customers all through Inflatable Office. But with the Vet Hawk, you can call them, you can text them, email, blast them, and so much more, right? Like it's more like your channel of communication to your customers. So this way, they don't have your personal cell phone number.
Right.
Yeah, I have a
So
question
will Event Hawk
regarding to
work
the
with ERS or how does that?
I heard you
You
both.
said-
I heard you both.
oh, I was just have a question regarding to the contract that you were talking about earlier. How many of you that using like default contract from Event Hawk? I mean, I'm sorry, IO.
We customized ours to suit it to our business, and then obviously you want what a lawyer to look over that as well, just make sure everything looks proper.
Okay.
I don't know about
And I was
anyone
gonna
else. I don't know if anyone sticks with like the template contract they give them.
I don't ever stick with templates. Like you just kind of have to personalize it to your own company. It's better off for you to personal. Like if you want to use a template for like a base, you can do that. I feel like that's okay, to kind of just get an idea of what direction to go. But definitely, you wanna make sure that your contracts state how you work, how you want your business to run, because not everybody's going to run the business the same way. Not everybody's going to have the same policies or the same requirements, and especially all of us, we're all in different regions, we're all in different, states and stuff like that. So, whereas like in one side of, the country, like, you have to worry about leaves and stuff like that coming into your bounce house. On other places, because it's just more open, like they, it's more city wise, like they don't necessarily have trees like that in some neighborhoods. It just depends what you wanna specify in your contract.
And for one example would be, I know some companies require 811 to come out and mark before they will come out and put an inflatable up, just to protect from hitting an underground line.
See, we don't have to do any of that. We have to just let them know, hey, it's the client's responsibility for you to know where your, pipes and whatever lines and stuff like that are. Like if you're the homeowner, especially, and if you're not the homeowner, it's your responsibility to reach out to your landlord or whatever, do your homework so that you know where your things are, because obviously we don't know the layout, we don't know the blueprint of your home. But that's not a requirement for us in Georgia. So that's why, yeah, like that's a perfect example as why you want to personalize it yourself.
It just protects you. It's another one of them things with contracts. Going off of a template and using the basic template, it is not set to everybody need. It's a template to give you an idea, like she has said, to where you're going.
It's like general. Yeah, it's super general. And it's so general that it's bad for you, because it's like too open. Yeah, it's too broad. It leaves it too open to like, people being like, oh, well, I understood it like this. I didn't know you meant like this,
Questionable.
Exactly.
You have to be firm and precise. You have to have, that's what's going to protect you in the long run.
Speaking of, one of the things that I've kind of run into and I still have questions about, so if somebody has an answer, I'd love to know, but it's regarding things like in your contract. I noticed a lot of contracts say, the generic ones, they say stuff like, we'll cover wear and tear, like if something happens to the unit just from normal use, we cover that. But then I've seen a lot of these places that says that in their contract, but then they turn around and have like these insurance things that they charge for, and they're saying, hey, for 7-9%, whatever, we'll cover any damages and stuff. And it's like, well, wait a minute, unless they're just out there with a pocket knife cutting holes in it, like what would that cover?
What does for that hair even mean? Like
damage waiver.
Like,
damage waiver, and what that is is that is an account that amount of money from damage waivers is if you take this game out and it happens to get set on a tree stump or a rock, or somebody has a pocket knife in their pocket and it just so happens to come open and puts that hole in it. That customer doesn't have to pay for that minor repair because they paid for the damage waiver to pay for that.
Oh
Right,
my
but what
goodness.
I'm saying is like,
Anybody
say
off.
say you have a baffle that blows while the kids are jumping on it, like, right, that's normal wear and tear. So
Yes.
if that's covered with the, you don't have to worry about it. That's, clearly that's our equipment that's just getting old. That's different than like, oh, I'm out there spray painting and writing on it with markers, which is malicious. So it's like that doesn't really cover either one. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, if the customer is looking at that, they're saying, why should I purchase this? At least with an extended warranty, oh, I get an extra so long on the warranty when I buy it. They've got something that they see, but it's almost like you're contradicting yourself between we'll take care of normal damage, and yeah, you're responsible, but we won't cover it if you damage it intentionally.
Well, okay, so did anybody see, I don't recall what group it was in, but has anybody came across recently, maybe like a couple months ago, somebody posted a picture of their bounce house with bullets going straight through the bounce house because the brother, I guess, had one too many drinks, and he's definitely afraid of snakes. And apparently there was a snake out there somewhere, and the guy just went crazy trying to shoot the snake and ended up shooting the bounce house. And the person who rented out the bounce house had to be responsible for that damage. That's not necessarily intentional, it's kind of accidental, but at the same time, it's like you're intentionally shooting randomly like out, so at that point I do feel like, yeah, like you kind of have to hold the client responsible too, even though they're not the ones who did it themselves, but your guests did it.
Yeah, I mean that's like, why, if you've had one too many, why are you carrying a firearm in the first place?
In the first place, yeah.
So that seems kind of like malicious. Like, I worked with a guy and his brother went home and got mad at his wife and was shooting at her through the trailer. And long story short, like, they got him for child endangerment and stuff. Yeah, that's your own dumb fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the damage waiver would be covering a dog chewing on or the extra cleaning fee.
Bless you.
Well, okay, so it would cover the dog and the extra. Okay, that's good to know.
Like that's the things that it would cover. A tree limb happened to fall on it. Like, it may not hurt the game, but it may put some scuffs and marks on the game. That is what the damage waiver to repair it. That way they don't get that $50 repair bill because they pay for that damage waiver. That is how.
So like true accidents.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Like, where that comes from is at a tool rental place that you can go rent tools at. They have a damage waiver that you can pay that damage waiver, or you don't pay that damage waiver, and if something breaks on it, you have to pay to fix it. As a customer, you have to pay for that repair. You picked up the equipment in operable condition, say you run it out of oil, that is your fault. It was good if you have it for a week, they're going to expect you to check the oil on it or bring it back into them every 8 hours of use for their technicians to do that.
I'm really iffy with that, allowing the customers to come and pick it up and be responsible for the security of the bounce house. I've had one. Well, I mean, I've had two people, but I entertained the idea with only one person simply because I knew her personally. And I did kind of go over with her. I was like, okay, I would definitely need to create like a separate contract because the contract that I have states you are responsible for that that unit and any equipment that you rent out, whether that be decor, tents, tables, chairs, anything that you rent out that is my property, you are responsible for it while you are having it on your property during the duration of your event. And until we pick it up from your possession, you are responsible for it. Now, the only thing where I have had an issue with before, I've never really had an issue with a customer and any damage with my bounce houses other than this one time. There was some scratches on the upper side of the pillar, which almost looked like maybe somebody had like something sharp and like didn't realize that it was rubbing up against the bounce house, and it scratched it a little bit. It didn't cut through, but it did scratch like the outer layer of the vinyl. And I had the customer come out, take a look at it. They could not figure out what happened. Obviously, the children are not that tall. So I know it likely was not a child, but it could have been an animal. And it's like, at that point, like, how do you even prove that? How do you prove it that they were responsible for that? So sometimes you do just have to kind of take a little loss, as long as it's still operable, it's not, super bad. It's just a little cosmetic damage. For me, it hurt my heart because it was it's a brand new unit. And that's the only damage that it does have, but it's on the backside. So I didn't really push too much. And it's they're new customers. So I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. We will figure it out. I'm not going to charge you guys. I can't prove it anyways. If they wanted to take it to court, I wouldn't be able to prove that it was their fault anyways, but it's just, sometimes you do just have to learn which battles you want to fight,
Well, my biggest thing with somebody picking it up comes from me actually renting one years ago before I got into this. We went and picked it up, got through it in the back of our pickup truck. We took it out there, we set it up, blew it up. Kids had fun, and then we brought it back. It wasn't until I got into this and I started, my Scioto stuff and all that I realized, hey, we didn't have any weights on that thing. We had nothing. Like, it was sitting on blacktop. A good wind could have come through and could have lifted that thing up, hurt those kids.
Exactly.
And we didn't know.
But you didn't know. Everything is a learning experience.
No,
right, but I'm saying
here's
as
the
a
thing.
customer, I didn't know. And if my kids had gotten hurt, I would have been upset.
You could have had anything happened. You could have still, in my opinion, you could have still gone after the bounce house company, because here's the thing. It is their responsibility, regardless of anything. It is our responsibility to make sure that children or whoever was going to be on there will be safe. So with that one person that I did entertain the idea, I let her know the only way I will feel comfortable with you picking it up, or your uncle or whoever picking up my unit, you guys taking it and setting it up and bringing it back to me, is if whoever is responsible for the setup and whoever is responsible for picking it up and dropping it off. So if that's one person or two people or three or four, they need to make the time at the very least a week before you made the reservation, at least a week before. They need to make the time to come and meet me for an instructional session on how to set it up, safety procedures, safety precautions. This is how you have to do it. Or this can happen, whatever. And if you don't schedule and if nobody shows up, I am canceling and I am keeping the deposit. Nothing is refundable, because at that point, that is your fault. If you guys call and let me know you need to reschedule, that's fine. But if you don't show up, you're not getting anything.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
That's where
we just basically got handed a
own ass, that this is our company. We have to make sure that we keep ourselves out of any legal issues.
Yeah, but see, they were doing it in a way that was not ethical. Like, they would just hand you a contract and have you sign it. And of course, the contract says, oh, we've gone over it with you. We've shown you how to set it up. You agree to this, blah, blah, blah. And you don't really halfway pay attention to what you're signing most of the time as a customer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially not when you're young and dumb like I was. So, live and learn. But their bases were covered, but ours weren't. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's where you use that help, because you have them meet you at an event where she does the instructional, goes through the training with them. If you have them meet you at an event to set up and take one down, as that is the requirement for us. if you're going to come pick it up, I've got to know that you got to anchor it. And I only allow certain people to come pick it up, but that is where I get my help from my big jobs, is because they're able to save the delivery fee by coming and helping me do 2 hours of work by taking down 8 games, so they know how to do it.
And at that point too, you kind of have to keep like a little list to keep track of what you are allowing them to take, because obviously if, in order for them to secure it down properly, you want to provide them with what you use. You know, that's not really the ability to go out and buy all these extra things,
right?
Just so, you know, so you have to also keep track. Like, here's a list of all of my things. You know, I'm handing you these many steaks. I'll give you these many extra steaks just in case. I'm going to give you this blower, this extra blower, you know, stuff like that, just so that they can be prepared, just as prepared as we would be when we go do setups. We have to make sure that our customers are just as prepared, you know, in case of anything.
That is where I get my employees, because if they're willing to set it up for themselves, they're willing to come help you do it. You may not need them but one day a month and 1 month a year. But for that one time you need somebody, okay, well, I'll come help you, and that gets me an inflatable cheaper. So that way they may not normally do a party, but if you've got them people that call to ask to come pick it up, and you say, well, I've got an event this Saturday, if you want to come and train how to set it up and take it down for you to be able to pick it up.
I think that would be an awesome idea, as long as you also include like a waiver, like an injury waiver, you know, like, hey, like you're doing this on your own, you know, accord, like not your own accord, but like under your own risk, right? Like type thing, because you can't get hurt. You can't get hurt. So I feel like at that point, like I said, your main thing is always making sure you are okay, you and your business are okay. So I think that would be a good idea, so long as you kind of go over that too with the customers. That wouldn't be something that I would be against.
I think you need to go over it with the customer where it's going to be at too, because I could see some people not being okay with that.
I mean, if we already go to the customer site, I mean, might as well we can just deliver it for them, because it sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot of hassle.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, if you're going to their place, why not do your job?
Right.
Yeah, like I kind of look at it like, if I'm going to pay you to come to my place and set it up.
We got a hard job, but we got an easy job. Like who can actually go and make the money that we make with one rental within an 8-hour day?
Yeah.
That's sometimes because I'm Bibby's World in Houston. Sometimes because I have help finding committed people, I'll offer clients free setup when I get to their house if they have 2 people who are willing to help set up. And so I do collect a deposit. Upon delivery, I pretty much set it up, tell them, well, I'm just there to direct them. Upon pickup, they roll it up, clean everything, and I give them their deposit back.
Okay. So that raises another question too that I've got, is like, how do you get people to help you that you can trust? I mean, especially temporary help, like not necessarily full time, they're going to work for you all the time, but just, hey, I've got a few more rentals than I expected or that I could do on my own.
As Bibby just said, you offer the client the ability to provide you help for a discount.
That part.
High schoolers, college kids, they need the extra money.
I've tried that, and they are not dependable all the time.
No. What you do
I've had kids tell me, "Oh, I forgot it was my sister's wedding today." Or my mom is having, and if they're dependent on their parents to bring them. So I find that if I tell a person, I can waive a delivery fee if you have 2 people there upon delivery, and then upon pickup, you'll get your delivery fee back. That has been working. And I'm there, but I just don't want to. I'm a female in my 50s, and I'm just getting worn out with doing all the deliveries myself. So it's just like
next year, I'm in Chicago. So next season, what I'm doing, I'm going to provide summer jobs for the kids.
Yeah, and at
that way.
Oh, I understand, the kids being not so reliable, but at that point, that's why it's our responsibility to just kind of be proactive and have those backups ready just in case. someone doesn't show up on.
And not only that,
Suggestion.
you also have to treat the kids as
Yeah. Give
Quick
them
like your
suggestion, please.
child.
Yeah, if they
Let
don't
me
have
You gotta make them
they're not
want to
show up.
come and do
let me
things.
suggest something. Why don't you, instead of going to like take unreliable kids, look for like undocumented immigrants who are not yet working, because they will be
Tamanda,
more reliable.
no.
Outside
Yeah,
of Home
because
Don't
Depot.
hire them.
You
Don't
talking about
hire
you?
them. They're going to
because
hurt our economy.
No, let me
No.
tell y'all this. I found
You-
one. That man told me. He said, I do work for $100.
Don't hire them. They're going to hurt our community.
I ain't
Don't try to
hiring
go.
him.
Look, don't
They're
try
going
to
to
go
take over our
outside of Home
business
Depot.
and offer the bounce houses for $10.
I'm
Don't
more or
be
less
penny.
thinking about guys like these labor ready kind of guys. Has anybody ever used
exactly.
somebody like that?
Yeah,
I
I used to use
If you
them
go to
before.
like Craigslist, you post the job there. You make sure that you hire about 2 or 3 guys who are, let's say, undocumented. You train them. Then you may just, I know that it's a risk because some of them can decide to get into the industry too. But right now we are all sharing ideas and the industry is big.
well,
So
here's
you
the
just
Worry
have
only
to
about
make
them
a
All
picking up
choice.
the
wrong, guys. All
here,
you guys are wrong. You drive to your the neighborhood liquor store and you get one of the guys.
Well, I used to well, I don't know whether they are documented or not, but I know that he's ready labor guy. So I was moving, I sold my old house and I moved to the new one, and then so I told him, I was like, hey, I only need like a full garage move, right? And he's like, how much you paying? And then I asked him like, how much you want for a full day? And it's just only like one garage, like 2-car garage. And he's like, 150. I was like, okay, cool, let's go. So we only like move one trailer and we supposed to go back, get the second one. He kind of like wandering around, like playing the phone, talking on the phone, and it's like, hey, we're not
filling
done
time.
yet.
Just
Yeah,
filling.
we need to keep going. And then he's like, 1 second, 1 second. So he end up like take like an hour break, and then it's like, are you done with your break? And then he's like, yeah, I'm done. And then he come and get one box, and then he was like, um, I thought we were talking about like 150 for one trailer. I was like, no, we never say anything about one trailer. We say 2-car garage, and he end up like I told him like, hey, if you don't want to work, and feel free to go, I'll still pay you, but I'm not gonna drop you off where I'm picking you up, because I have the whole garage that I need to move. And then he was like, hey, you need to drop me off and you have to pay me. And I was like, that's not what we're talking about. And he threatened me. He's like, I'm gonna call the police for that. And I was like, I can call the police for you. And I told him, and then, so long story short, my neighbor heard our argument, and then he came and he's like, hey, what's going on? And then he's like, okay, let's don't make a big deal out of it. Let's just, if you want to pay him, go ahead and pay him. I'll take him back to the place where you pick him up, because my neighbor know that I'm moving and I'm really busy and I have the sun almost down. So, and I swear to my wife, like, no, I'm not gonna like get them anymore. That will be
Yeah,
the first time and the last
issue
time.
that's the issue with picking up random people, and especially being a female, I've got to
Yeah.
be very careful.
Yes.
But
Yes.
and even if you go to the Home Depot, when I was moving some stuff, not the bounce house business, I went to Home Depot, and now they have astronomical prices. They'll tell you out there, oh, it's $175 a day for
Well,
8, and I'm like, what?
Here's, aside from us being girls, right? Because I've thought about it. You know, me now. Well, news for some, not news for all, but I'm pregnant. You know, I found out that I'm 10 weeks pregnant now, and obviously this past couple weeks I've had a few rentals. I can't pick these things up, so I've had to, you know, reach out to other people. And here's the thing, I thought about it. I entertained the idea of like going to the corner you know, Mexican meat market that we have and somebody over there, because not necessarily that they all are undocumented. Some of them honestly just have a hard time because of their age finding a stable job. But here's the problem with finding undocumented people, whatever ethnicity they may be. Being undocumented, how would somebody go about paying? How would you go about when you do your taxes, your business taxes?
I'm not
Okay?
doing it because of that. That's
Exactly.
exactly like
You
that'll
want
get you in
to have
trouble.
your business as legitimate as possible, because God forbid you ever get, hit with the IRS and they want to audit you or whatever the case may be. It's just a matter of I just keep saying it. You have to protect yourself. Even though, yes, it may be an easier route, it's a lot of risk that comes with it. Me being a woman, I would not be able to just go over there and like, hey, who wants to come work with me? Because guess what? Sometimes I'm freaking hot. I'm gonna take off this t-shirt that I have, and I'm gonna have this tank top. It's not necessarily revealing, but guys are guys. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And especially nowadays, you just cannot trust anybody.
And then they're looking at you, especially as a female, thinking you have a business. I don't know where their mindset at. I don't know if there's someone who have an issue with, drugs. And sometimes when you have an issue with drugs, you may not be a bad person, but in the moment when you're desperate. So I don't really like to go that route. I just rather offer the client the discount. I'm going to their home, and I'm there to make sure they do everything right. But yeah, I offer $15 an hour, and I buy my crew lunch and all kind of stuff. It's just that they're not. I just find that, and I hate to say this generation is different. They're entitled, they're lazy. I'm being honest. They'll lay at home and rather watch television. They'll say things like, man, it's too hot out there. Then I meet grown men who want to work, and they'll say things like, I'll work with you because my house in foreclosure, and I can't get your house out of foreclosure. I can't help you buy a Ford F-150. So it's a double-edged sword.
Well, that's why she's pregnant. She's trying to make her own workers.
You have to put
Hey, I did it while I was pregnant. Don't say what you can't do.
And no, listen, I got 2 events coming up that I might just have to do myself. I'll figure it out. I'm telling you, Robin,
she's making her own workers.
The back of my head reminded me.
Let me tell you, I have that Jolly Dolly. I have that Jolly Dolly with the wagon on it. And when I tell you it's a help, it was worth every penny I spent, because once you put it down and put the wagon on it, you could literally pull it with 2 fingers.
And it glides. That's the goal. One day I'm going to get that thing.
Somebody's going to have to show me that, because I ain't never seen that.
Google it right now. Jolly Dolly. It's this big old yellow machine looking thing. It's huge.
And I wish I would have got the power one, but it came out after I got mine. But it's still, I'm telling you, and it has a winching system. It rolls up the bounce house, it picks it up, and once you lay it down, that has been a blessing.
Was it Ruben? You said you pay the guy $15 an hour. Okay.
I pay my staff $15. This Bibby's World, Dietrich Dunbar in Houston, Texas. I pay $15 an hour, and I provide them for lunch, and then I got to pick them up.
That's a good pay. $10 an hour is a good pay.
Free lunch.
Yeah, that's how much I pay. I pay my kids and their friends when they help me. So I'm just fortunate to have boys. And that was the reason why I got into it.
I just feel like if you find somebody who needs the job, who truly needs the job, like you'll be set. That's why.
That's the question: is where do you find them? Like, I've heard of guys doing fairs and stuff at high schools and colleges, but they say the same thing. It's like they're not reliable. And then, a grown adult is usually looking for a full-time job if they're a capable adult.
They're not looking paid $15 an hour. They're looking for 18, 19, 20 at the very least.
I'll say, as a former teacher, it was the students to pick are the ones who are in extracurricular activities, right? If they can commit to a club,
exactly,
they can commit to work, right?
And that's when you talk to the parents too. You have to communicate with the parents as well and make sure that the parents are on board with them working with you guys, because the parents will also help keep them reliable, keep them responsible. It's just kind of like a skill set. It's you network with people
That's good.
I'm telling you, I've done all that. And I tell them in the beginning, because I don't want to miss, we work weekends and holidays. Just to let them know. And I'm telling you, it's always, I've went through quite a few people, but I haven't given up. But
Absolutely. And like kids are gonna, they have the short-term memory, they're gonna forget things. I would definitely have a backup, it's even like a backup person, child, someone you might have to pay maybe like $5 extra that time if one of your children does drop out. But I recommend any kid.
One of my kids dropped out, Brandon.
that is the backup.
Just make sure you
I
have
wish one of
several.
my kids would back out on me.
You may just make sure you have several of them, several kids. Then you create some sort of a WhatsApp group.
Exactly.
Then you post the job in the WhatsApp group that all your
And
workers are
whoever
inside.
wants it will let you know, hey, I want to be
The first person that picks the job gets the job. But if you just have a specific number of people, like 2, 3, and they all like decline for that day, you're going to suffer. But if you have about 5, 6, even 10 of them, you post the job, the first person that picks the job.
That's actually really smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Having
Then
like a
at
group
the end of the day, you just write a check
Yeah.
and you pay them. You write a check and you pay. Simple.
It's like a group text or message.
Yeah. Like have a group who wants to work, and then whoever's available these days, like, hey, I have events this day, and this day of this month. Please let me know who is available. Okay. All right, cool. We have 2 people for this event. We have 2 people for this event. Cool. Now I need a backup team. Who is going to be available in case these people back out? Who's going to be available in case they don't show up on time? And if you end up being called, you'll get an extra, I don't know, like you said, $5, $10 or something, give them a little extra initiative so they can show up.
Yeah, because I'm working a full-time job.
On top of the bounce house.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah, I am new to this. I haven't have one customer yet, so
It's okay. They're gonna come. They're gonna come. Right. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh.
But yeah, right now I'm still looking for new bounce house. I was told that if you have only like 2 or 3 unit, your profit or the money that you make is probably not enough to cover their insurance.
I guess
insurance basically started off at least $3,000.
Yep.
For the year, and that's for the year.
And how do they pay the insurance? Do they pay per unit that you have, or they just determine the random amount?
I think if you have, I think it's 10, and you pay like 12 something every 3 months.
I did the math on mine, and the way mine breaks down with my costs and my expenses is I have to rent 16 in a year to pay for my insurance to break even. So I think it's doable. Yeah, I mean,
Well, also keep in mind they do base it off of how many inflatables you have and the type of inflatables that you have.
Right.
What company is that?
So
what company is it
That
for the insurance?
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. Hang on a minute.
What's the name?
Yeah, he's looking it up. Cool. Tom, are you going to
We've
IAAPA?
all been worried about insurance lately.
Say that again?
Are you going to IAAPA this year? You said you're still looking to get some
we got ours. We reserved. We got ours.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I didn't get my ticket. I'm going IAAPA. I'm waiting for some tickets.
So when you go, let me ask you guys a question.
It was a company through X Insurance.
X
Insurance. Oh, I've heard of them.
So like letter X insurance?
Yes, letter X insurance, yeah.
So when you guys go to IAAPA, do they do credit, or it's got to be all cash?
Ooh. No, you can do credit.
Yeah, I'm about to say I think you can do credit.
Tent and Table last year had 24 months 0% interest at IAAPA.
Yep. We were sitting right next to them.
Wait, did you repeat that again? You said finance, no interest?
0% interest for
You
24
going,
months.
Brandon?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be there. And
I
Booker.
think I missed something.
be
Do
there.
you get a discount for buying at IAAPA or something?
They run
Yeah.
specials. Yeah, they run every inflatable manufacturer runs specials. And if you're close enough, you can buy the floor units because they don't want to take them home, right? So
And
Really?
some of them, now is the time to reach out and tell them that you want to buy a unit, and they will take it to IAAPA with them, and you get to pick it up there.
Oh,
So
you gotta worry about shipping. That's smart.
exactly. Yep. Yep. You gotta be strategic with it because they're already gonna be
Well,
there.
now I know for next time because I did not
Can I
plan.
carry it on the plane?
It might be a little for the weight limit.
Wait.
yeah, but
I'm sorry.
that's where you
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm behind. What are you talking about? IAP? What is it?
Y'all
IAAPA.
done left Tom all behind. Y'all
That's the
so
conference.
wrong.
It's
That's the
an
Y'all
conference.
so
inflatable
wrong.
inflatable convention that they're holding in Orlando, Florida this year.
It's
They
more
they do it every
inflatables.
Oh,
It's for
Is
the
it safe to go
entire.
there this year?
It's in November. I think that's when hurricane season is over. Now, correct me, anybody who lives on the East Coast, right? But I think it's over by that point.
No, it is. My
Wait,
cousin Florida.
18
can
to the
you
22nd.
I haven't
can
bought any
you
tickets or plane tickets yet. I'm kind of scared. I was gonna
Right.
go, but
So
then I
so will
stuff
they
out
still
there.
have it with all of this going on?
Oh yeah, I mean it's the same place every year. It's because it's more than just inflatables. Like the inflatables are
it's
just.
No,
an
I'm saying with
amusement.
like the hurricanes and everything.
I haven't
It's in
heard anything.
Orlando. We're
Yeah,
not on the coast.
yeah, it's in Orlando, so it's not like it's in Tampa.
And by then it'll be over by then. Like it
Now,
typically doesn't.
And we still got another
Where's
month and a
everybody
half.
staying?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have
I might go
they have
down there and
carnival
work.
rides.
Hotels.
I
Wait,
might go
what?
down there and work.
Oh, it's
can
gonna
you
be
have
fun.
can you drop information about that? I'm interested, and I'll probably like go and then come back
Where's
with a
everybody
trailer on
staying?
U-Haul or something.
Hotels, cars,
Hey, depending
you
on
all
who
staying in U-Haul?
your software guys are, some of them will actually pay for your tickets.
Ah, what about IO?
Check the chat.
I
Check
don't
the
know. I don't
chat.
know. I'm not using IO.
Check the chat. We
Check the chat.
Yeah, he just put it on here.
here's the link to IAPA. So where we're
Okay.
staying, everyone stays different places. There's hotels. We as Event Hop have rented a VRBO, right? And we'll be staying as a big family in someone else's house, right? So yeah. And but everywhere around the Orange County Convention Center is fun, right? Lot to do. And it's Orlando in November, so the weather's pretty nice. If you have the time, there's Disney and Universal, but IAPA's fun, y'all. And again,
If
it's
you had a time, they got all the good food right on the strip.
yep,
Right down
right
the
there
street.
on iDrive, right there on iDrive. Yep,
Oh, I drive
yep.
with the rides.
How is it already
now,
9:04? I don't get that.
How's it already? What?
So fast.
What was that?
How is it already 9:04? How did time fly that fast?
Is it? Oh, it is that time, y'all. No way. We've just been having
Why you
fun.
why you say something? Why you say something,
right.
Rosie?
You know
We
we go
trying
late
to
every week.
kick it for 30 more minutes.
Because I just saw Brandon had posted like, oh, I gotta head out like a couple minutes back, and I was like, wait.
That wasn't Brandon.
Yeah, that was Zoelle. It's
That was
okay.
Zoelle.
That was Zoelle. I got this little guy.
Now,
Oh,
Brandon,
boy.
did you go to the show last year?
I'm sorry. What was that, Aaron?
Did you go to the show last year?
Yes, sir. It was a blast.
Now,
I worked it, but I didn't even have time to look at all of it because it was so big.
now, the sad thing is, last year outside got flooded. It was nasty all week.
Yeah,
We had hurricane last year.
yeah, it was like a small, yeah, I remember
Steady rain all day. So hopefully good weather this year because everything was limited to inside. And like I said, if there's a unit you want to buy from a company and you can get them to bring it to the show, like you can see your unit before you take it home. Be like, no, I don't want that one. I'll take the next one. Ship it to me.
Okay.
You get deals down there. There, it is things and ideas. You just start that you could add to your company of not just bounce houses. I've mentioned they've got the cotton candy machine that they can design a flower with different colors in their cotton candy. That is all automatic. They get to do it all on a touch screen. Doesn't take a
Send
worker.
it to me, Aaron.
It is everything you can think of for the party rental industry and more. They're like, the CEO of Disney is walking around looking to build a new roller coaster there. Right? They got gel blasters, guns that you can shoot each other's with, all the free food samples. And my friend went last year. He told me he had free alcohol samples. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's
Robin, you can make me dig that book out, but you'll have to send me a message. I didn't get a message from you.
Got you, Aaron.
No, Robin's wanting that information on that cotton candy machine.
I'll send it to you now.
I'll be there. Hotel book, flight paid, car reserved. I just need to pay the ticket for the IAAPA. That's all I need now.
Wait on the
Check your chat,
manufacturer.
Aaron.
But manufacturers will give you a ticket. They get them when they pay lot rent. I don't know if Event Hawk's going to have any to give away, but
we're getting them. They're on their way. I think they're giving us 30 this year, and it's first come, first serve. So, reach out to us. We'll put you on our list. We have a list of people who've already been asking. So yeah, we'll add you guys.
I got my tickets. Yeah, buddy.
Brandon, must I be a customer to Event Hub to have the ticket?
No, but customers are first priority. So like if we have more than 30 people sign up, it's going to be the 30 priority for the customers, and then after that.
And put me on
Check
your
your
list
chat,
there.
Aaron.
What you got me on?
Brandon, put me on your list.
Got you.
Y'all,
okay.
Y'all making me sad. I ain't getting to go this year. So.
Got you. All right, remember copy this.
I'm
Well, it's okay. You
interested
can
in
come
that.
next year. You can come next year. That's all.
I'm planning on it, man. I'm planning on it. Like I said, I would have loved to have come this year. I just got so much going on. I can't.
For sure. And scheduling wise, it happened. Last year was earlier in November. It was like week 1, like first week in November. This week or this year, I think it's like week 2, right? It's like the week before.
It's always week 2.
But anyway, this was a lot of fun, y'all.